we could just cut the young folks some slack here and I just understand they want to go to a music festival. Let them go to a music festival. But the lies that are currently being spun about how they are financing their tickets through the buy now pay later scheme is just ridiculous because that's not what's happening. It's not what's happening at all when they talk about that 60% of the tickets were financed through buy now pay later. That's not true. It's a different version of what they are, and in my mind, when I'm looking at this, would I prefer they paid in cash? Of course. Of course, I do. Would I prefer that they saved up ahead of time and paid? Of course. But what they're doing is better than putting it on a credit card. Like, that's the other side of this, folks, is that the system that Coachella uses to allow for payment plans for their tickets actually teaches and reinforces delayed gratification, exactly what we want folks to learn. So, we are gonna go take a look at an article, and it's from Payments. It's Payments Journal. It's an actual website for the credit card and debt industry. So there's a little spin to this, but they are also pushing this information. So we're gonna take a look what they have to say. Again, for those who know, I'm a business coach. I work out of West Michigan and around the country, and I come here live pretty consistently every single day, talking about business in general. And again, I hope to earn your subscription. I share a lot of this information with my clients as well, and this is one that, when it comes to their employees, that I talk with my clients about a lot. Is like, listen, the not everybody is able to pay upfront in cash for the things they wanna do. That's most people can't. You have to save up for that. The goal that we wanna get everyone to is that they move from financing everything to saving up and delaying gratification for things. Every time you finance something, you are taking money from your future self. That's just understood. Now, there's times where it makes sense, but in most of the time in the retail consumer world, it's not what you want to do. But what we're getting from the folks here, and I saw this come up over the weekend too, where they were trashing the attendees for using buy now, pay later, and that's not what they're using. It's even here in the headline. It's not correct. So let's get into it here. When the Coachella Music Festival kicks off, many attendees will have secured their tickets through installment plan. So, installment plan, all right? And then they get right to it. Bypassing traditional buy now, pay later providers, so right off the bat, you just got to get one sentence in and they flip the script on it. They're bypassing the buy now, pay later and they're using an installment plan. Coachella's payment plans have become especially popular with the festival's mostly younger crowd, a significant revenue source for the promoters. Rightfully so, right? They're holding tickets, and we'll go into what it looks like here in a second. So, according to a report from Billboard, approximately 60% of the general admission ticket buyers at this year's festival opted to use Coachella's payment plan. Buyers are charged a $41 upfront fee to enroll with nearly 100,000 attendees. So that's $4 million dollars at Coachella, and the ticketing company and the promoter split. So in a sense, that $41 may seem minor compared to the overall cost. General admission tickets for the 3-day festival start at $4.99. It's not cheap to go, but 3 days, that's not terrible. How much does it cost to go to Disney, right? I think the guys getting to hang out at the music festival and live their best lives, right? Now, the payment plan allows for attendees to get started with as little as $19.99 with the balance spread out over several months. For Coachella, that generally means the 3-month stretch between January lineup and announcement and the festival itself. So, right off the bat, that's what it just bothers me on this. Just be, truthful on this. They're using installment plan, right? So it's let's say it is 41, $41 and you just get the general admission, the lowest one at 4.99. So that's gonna come in at like 9%, give or take. That's a 9% is what you're paying for the right to then be able to pay over 3 months. If you were to use a credit card, that's gonna be 29% if you don't pay it off, right? The annualized fee. So we're already getting that down to 9%. Now, yes, there's when you talk about they're gonna get into a firm and the actual buy now, pay later, where you spread it over time, where whoever's using it doesn't pay, but you really do. Wink. It's in the price, the cost of goods, because 'cause they've gotta be able to get their money back. Um, and this is what they're getting at. They're upset that they're using the installment plans, and this is the idea here that really bothers me in this, and we're gonna get back into this here is that so we're upset because the the attendees want basically want to pay overtime. But they with this system, they don't get physical control of the tickets until they've made all of their payments, and if they don't make their payments, which we're gonna get into here, um, they lose the right to the tickets. So, it is pushing off again, it's that delayed gratification rather than, "I've got my tickets, I'm ready to go." It's, "Hey, I have to do certain things to qualify for my tickets still." And that's a good thing. We want delayed gratification to be the norm, not to be, we want it to be the rule rather than the exception. And this is one way of doing it here. So you're paying for the education and the training. Big deal. All right. So here's the big difference here where they talk about the fees and everything. And this is where it gets into Coachella attendees must complete their payments prior to the festival. If they miss a scheduled payment, they have 10 days to bring their account current, right? So if they miss a payment, they've got 10 days to make it right or their ticket order is canceled. However, the fees that do go in there, they are carried over to the next year. So there's a little penalty, but you also it's not a huge penalty. You get that credit that rolls over to the next year, assuming you still want to attend. Now, Coachella first began offering the installment plans in 2009 with just 18% of attendees opting in at that time. Since then, that number has grown significantly. But again, the rise of the BNPL plans, promoters may soon face increased competition. Buy now, pay later plans offering 0% interest and no fee loans will usurp any, they say it will. And this is a senior analyst at credit and commercial at Javelin Strategy and Research, especially with a festival like Coachella, which attracts younger demographic who are already using BNPL. And again, they talk about there's other areas that do this here. So again, go check out the article. Links gonna be in the description, folks. We should be, I'm we should be happy ish that that's happening. That this is what they're using an actual payment plan to go to these things. We shouldn't be upset about it or being freaked out about it. This is actually a good thing. I remember, growing up where I did most of the stuff that we bought was on layaway, right? We got the item, it was held in the back, we paid a fee, and then over the course of 6 months, we made our payments, and then we were able to get what we needed to get. It's the way a lot of Christmas presents were bought, the way a lot of the larger items that we wanted to get were bought before credit was as available as it is now. And again, what I liked about that also is it required delayed gratification. You eventually got and understood, like, why am I paying 20, paying the $24, the $4, whatever the holding fee is for something I know I'm gonna need. Why don't I just plan for it for next year I'm gonna need the same thing. Why don't I just start saving now? Then I can just use cash for it later. And like that's the piece we wanna get to. Again, from the business standpoint, the number of there's a big piece here when I'm talking to um, my clients on this. Reversing charges, having to deal with credit cards, having to deal, frankly, with a firm and all the buy now, pay later. There's a cost associated with all of these things that does not exist with cash. Yes. Oh, hey, Soto. Yeah, yeah, I know. That's how I got through there too. My mom was also a member of the Christmas club with her bank. So, she would always save up into the Christmas club account, which she couldn't access until I think it was beginning of November, so she got buying stuff, so that's the thing, but when I talk about my clients on this, the idea that we wanna have is that the more we can find ways to have where we control the credit situation, where we control basically the funds um, the transactions happening is the better. Now, layaway isn't is it's got its own issues with it. There's a holding cost, there's inventory, there's staffing people to manage it and everything. Um, there is inherent costs there. But what I'm asking my clients to do, especially in the retail piece, is take a look at it and see what are you paying in vendor fees right now? It's 3.7% and in some cases, somewhere's upwards of 4% on every charge. What does that look like over the course of a year? And could you offer layaway to certain clients for certain items? I'm not saying for everything, it's got to make sense, got to be a certain dollar value, whatever that is. And something that you could, obviously is going to be able to be available, for year after year, something like that. Those are the things that we're trying to work through because using credit right now and offering credit to your with it to your customer base. It's there, it's important, need to have it. But more and more, it's stacked against the merchant, and it's definitely stacked against the customer. These these rates being upwards of 32% on some cards is just insane. We don't want that for folks. So, anyways, let's stop beating up on the kids. By kids, I mean the young folks going to these festivals. Let them have fun. Paying 9% to educate yourself that you could have saved up this money instead of from January to March, that you could have saved this up for not paying $41 from October to December, I think isn't that big of a deal. And we need to get over it. I mean, understand that they're going to be pushing these buy now, pay later things. And we do not want that to be, we don't want that taking over. Like, period. We do not want buy now, pay later taking over in the same, because what they're using it for, folks are financing buy now, pay later for not just groceries, but like smaller and smaller purchases under $20. We just That's a bad thing to get into. Credit's supposed to be for certain things, and we'll get into that later. So, with that, I appreciate everybody hanging out so far. Hopefully, I earned your subscription day. If you'd like to learn more about how I help businesses grow faster than ever thought possible, be sure to check out summitbusinessguys.com. Take care, and